This is Pastor Stuart. In this video I'll be reviewing this Bible. It's the New King James Version, large print, wide margin reference Bible, and the publisher, Thomas Nelson, has sent me this Bible in exchange for a review. In this video I'll be briefly looking at this Bible's readability, its features, and its build quality. So here is the Bible. Let's start with the readability of this Bible. As you can see, it features a nice dark font. The point size is 10.5, and it's a generous 10.5. It really is, in my view, a large print Bible. The text is line matched, and what that means, you could probably see what's coming from the other side of the page. You can see some text just there from the other side of the page, but you'll notice that it's aligned perfectly, and the text on this side of the page is in exactly the same position as the text on the other side of the page, so the lines match, and that assists readability because it minimizes the effect of show-through from the other side of the page. It is a red letter Bible, as you can see. The words of Jesus are in red. Some people like red letter, some people don't. The shade of red is, it is a bold red, so it's not difficult to read. But if you find reading red to cause you discomfort, then that may be the case with this Bible also. But it is dark enough. It's not as dark as Schuyler's red, the red that they use in the Schuyler Quentel. It is bolder, but it's not as dark a shade. I personally prefer a darker shade of red for my eyes. The space between the lines is adequate. I haven't experienced any eye strain or discomfort when going from one line to another. I think even greater line spacing would actually create a more relaxing reading experience, but I think the spacing between the lines is definitely adequate. The longer a line is, the more space you need between the lines, and I think this is okay. The paper, as far as opacity is concerned, I think is very good. There's not much show-through. There is, some show-through from the other side of the page, but there's not much. I think the opacity is very good. Unfortunately, there is glare of this particular paper, and so you do need to be able to adjust the angle of the light shining on the page, whether that's natural light or artificial, in order to overcome that. It is in verse by verse format, so that each verse begins on a new line rather than in paragraph format, and that assists with being able to locate a verse very quickly. This page shows how prose is formatted. It fills the column. I'll quickly show you some poetry. As you can see, it has poetic formatting for poetry. So the readability, I think, is very good, especially because of this dark font and the adequate line spacing. And so I definitely score the readability of this Bible 5 out of 5. Let's move on now to the features of this Bible. Each book has a book introduction. So we see the introduction here for the book of Ezekiel, the author, the time, key verses, and the theme. So that's useful, very brief. But I think it's useful that these are there. At the bottom of the page are cross-references and the translator's notes. There are over 72,000 cross-references, and you can see that it has the chapter and verse number to which the cross-reference pertains, and within the text itself. So for example, in this verse here, verse 7 of chapter 19 of Matthew, it has a little A in the text in red, in the color red, and when we look at the bottom for chapter 19 and verse 7, you can see the cross-reference there, the letter A and the cross-references. Now, within the cross-references are the translator's notes as well. They are indicated by a superior number within the text. And I'm pleased to report that this Bible has the full set of translator notes for the New King James Version. Not all New King James Versions have the full set. Many of them contain an abridged set of the notes. But this Bible here has the full set of translator notes. As stated, they are mixed in with the cross-references. I would have preferred them to separate the translator notes from the cross-references, because that makes looking up the translator notes much quicker. As it stands, if you are reading chapter 18 here and verse 7, it says, "Woe to the world because of offences," and you see the superior number 1. What you have to do is you have to be, first of all, be aware of what verse number and what chapter number you are reading. So you have to know you're on chapter 18 verse 7. So that's one step. Then you have to look down here for chapter 18 and verse 7. It's 2 steps. And then you've got to locate within that the translator note. I think it's better, and Schuyler has done this in their Quentel, to separate the translator notes from the references and have them, they could be above the references, and then you simply have the number, and so for example that's number 1, and what I would think would be good is if these were just numbered separately. So if this was the first translator note on the page, it would be number 1. If it was the second one, it would be number 2 or number 3, etc. And then all you do is look down for number 1. And it's just much quicker, and then you would see the translator note there. But instead, Thomas Nelson here mixed them in together, and so it makes looking up the translator note, it takes longer than it needs to. Now, to overcome this, what you can do is you can, just highlight the translator notes in advance of reading the page. But there you are. But it's something that can be overcome by highlighting the translator notes as mentioned. Now, this is a wide margin Bible. It has one wide margin on each page, and that's on the outside. This wide margin here is just under 3 centimeters, and so there's room for brief annotations as you are reading the text. Obviously, there's not room for large annotations. I personally keep most of my annotations electronically, and so in a wide margin Bible I would only be using brief annotations anyway. So I think the publisher has a choice. They can either do a smaller font and have more wide margins. They could probably have a wider margin on the inside, but then you would need a smaller font. So this is the compromise they have to make. If you want a wide margin Bible as readable as this, and this is an incredibly easy to read wide margin Bible, then something has to give. And so they have one wide margin on the outside. There is a concordance at the back of this Bible. Concordances at the back of Bibles, of course, will not be exhaustive, but it's useful that it is there. To give you an idea of the entries, we'll look at the word God and see how many entries are there. So here's the word God, and you can see there are quite a number of entries, so it's a good concordance. I'm not going to bother counting those, but you can see it's quite a number. Good. And also there are maps at the back of the Bible. I would love to see Thomas Nelson include map indexes in their Bibles. Some of you who may be aware of the old New King James Version Imperial Reference Bible, for example, that had a map index. I would love to see map indexes included in Thomas Nelson Bibles. The maps are here, color maps. This is one map. I like the fact that they have this white space rather than the map just running, just be joined together, because you would lose some information in the gutter. So I think it's good that they have the white space there. So those are the features of this Bible. I would score the features 5 out of 5 again. I think it's very good. A lot of cross-references, all the translators' notes, book introductions, maps. I think it's very good. I score the features of this Bible 5 out of 5. Now the build quality. This is not the premium edition of this Bible. There is a premium edition available, which comes with better paper and is bound in a goatskin edge-lined cover. But this is the brown leather soft version, and so it has an imitation leather cover, and it has a card liner. You can see the presentation page there, and it also has 2 ribbons, nice thick ribbons. Both are, this is brown, and the other one is a lighter shade of brown, almost a gold colour. You can see some perimeter stitching there. So I'm satisfied. Obviously I would prefer the liner not to be card, perhaps to be some kind of synthetic liner, but I think for the price point this is very good. If you want something superior, I guess you would need to get the premium edition, the Premier Collection version, which as mentioned is edge-lined. I would score the build quality of this Bible 4 out of 5. With regards to the dimensions of this Bible, it is about 20 centimeters wide and it's 24.5 centimeters tall approximately, and about 4 centimeters thick. It weighs 3 pounds, and so this is definitely, in my view, something you would want to use on your desk rather than holding in your hand. So I think that this is a very nice Bible. I would definitely recommend it to you. This may actually be in what, in my opinion, is the best comfort print reference edition of the New King James Version. I think this is very, very good, and I recommend it to you. So thanks to Thomas Nelson for sending me this review copy, and thank you very much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please feel free to press the like button and to subscribe to this channel for more videos. Have a wonderful remainder of your day. God bless.